This is Muta Baruka. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Muta Baruka.
Premarital sex, fornication, right, as most people know it, it's really a detriment to our nation, because here you have, first of all, disease, as you said, those type of things, babies growing up without that, seeing that balance, not a structured household. And so it really is spiritually, it's spiritually detrimental. It's energetically detrimental. And it's not in the balance. Like, if it's about the intentions on coming together. A lot of people are coming together for lust, right? And after that lust is fulfilled, it's like, okay, I don't like you, but the woman got pregnant now. And it's like, okay, I gotta have this baby. It has a domino effect. You have many women getting abortions, right? And there's no reason to, right? But just speaking on it, like the mental process of a woman, here she is thinking that she's gonna be with a man, and he says, no, I don't wanna be with you. He doesn't wanna take responsibility and accountability. Now she's thinking, okay, should I dash away the belly or get rid of it or keep it? And then she's stressed and stuff like that. All that can be avoided if we understand what the intention should be when you approach somebody. It should be about marriage. It shouldn't be about just fulfilling a lust because your body looks good. We're so carnal and physical, we forgot that we're spiritual beings. So we're just reactive and compulsive with each other so much. And again, post-traumatic slave syndrome, the breeding farms, men would just have sex with women, and so that had an effect on us. So now it's going back to, okay, what's the cause of this mindset now, this compulsive mindset of just sleeping with somebody without a spiritual connection, without intention? Where did it come from? So we have to go back. We're on the surface and not getting to the root. We have to go back to what the root problem is. That mental state that trickled down, right? Not keeping certain principles and laws that our nation once did. You know, we are, and our foreparents were a nation, and still are in some regards here, honoring marriage, family, unity, society. We're not doing that anymore. Hence why our nation is in chaos, right? So it's about understanding that. So for me, at first it was hard. But after a time, it's like, okay, I have to respect myself as a woman. And my intentions is not to fulfill a lust, but it's actually to get a man that, or receive a man that I want to follow. I want to lead me. I want my mind to be after his mind. It's not, oh, he looks good, he got the bag, I'm gonna get with him. It's not about that. So understanding that is the principle of wanting a leader, a protector, a man, a Godhead in my life. That is what I use and I feed off of to sustain, you know. And I think a lot of people aren't there with themselves because they're so compulsive. They don't even know how to sit still. They're just going. But if you slow down and say, hey, you know, okay, what's the consequences of just sleeping with this person? Could get a disease, could get pregnant, you know, that's just the physical part. We're not even talking about energetically and spiritually. You take on that person's spirit. And it's not just for the woman, because the man can take on spirit too, and the energy too. And now you walking around and like spiritually you schizophrenic, you know, you spiritually schizophrenic because you got all of this energy on you because of the compulsion of lust. And then now you got sick people getting with sick people. Two sick people can't create the environment for a healed child, you know? So it's about being patient. It's about the intention. And then when you really just sit back and come out of that moment of just wanting to jump, you say, okay, it's not worth it. So you have to apply whatever principles that will get you disciplined, because disciplining oneself is freedom. It's change, and you can't do anything without spirituality. We're spiritual beings, you know. We're a spiritual commune being. So to be commune and community with each other, whatever community you choose, you know, that doesn't take away from being spiritual, but really spirituality is about application of principles to unlock. Reading, to have knowledge, right? It says to have knowledge. But with all that knowledge, get overstanding, and then you have access to wisdom, right? So you could be reading this, reading that, but you don't have no overstanding of it. The overstanding is, okay, I gotta change this, change that, apply. That's how you get access to wisdom, you know? So if you're just reading, that doesn't do nothing without application. Words without works is dead. You know, that definitely applies. So I think I know that when you apply principles to your life, that gives you access to spiritual freedom. You know, it is very trendy. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, I'm spiritual this and this is that. If you're not holding a discipline, then how are you spiritual? because of what you're expressing or reading. What good is reading without applying and experiencing? Experience is the best teacher in life. Whatever walk you're in, experiencing in that fullness, whatever path that you choose or that chooses you, definitely sticking to it to see what result it gives you is beneficial, by actually applying that discipline to see how it changes you. But if you're just doing it for a trend, then you're actually stagnant and you're wasting time. Why waste your time? If you're gonna say you're this or be in this, be that. And people will respect that no matter what. They can say whatever they want to say. However, if you're sticking by it in your action, people have to respect that, whatever that is. It's about consistency. If somebody sees you, even though they may not personally agree, but it's the principle of it, like that person is consistent, they're disciplined, they're in whatever path they're in, and their actions show that. I respect that. It's not about likes. You know, it's not about likes. Like this generation is, oh, like. There's dopamine and all of that. Like. If nobody likes my page, they want to be validated by others. And it's not about that. It's about taking your path and whatever that is and whatever stage you're at and embracing it into the fullness without caring about what other people think, to validate yourself. It's about self-validating, really. Prove to yourself that you can actually stick to the path that you're on, really, you know. And it's not gonna be perfect, and it's not gonna be perfect. You're gonna make mistakes on that path, but that's the beauty of it, you know, is trust in the journey and trust in that process, not rushing it, just experiencing it, being present. A lot of people aren't present. The Father represents leadership, guidance, protection, security. He's God in the house. And without that structure, that leadership, that order, it's chaos. It's chaos. And so me growing up with a single mother, I desired that. I used to say, like, I want my dad, you know. My dad got deported, right? But whatever the situation was, I desired that. And I seen the effect that it had on me not having that. Because for a girl child, her first love as far as the masculine is her father. So not having that, I didn't have that structure, I didn't have that security. And I think that played a role. And so wanting that, not having that, definitely, I had to learn as I got older how to deal with a man, how to respect, how to not talk too much. All of these different things, having to learn on my journey, rather than if I did have a father, definitely would have played a major role in my life as far as dealing with men. So now here we go. A real man is law. He's structure. And women today, like the modern women, they want the aesthetics of what a man is, but they actually don't want a man because they don't want to be submissive. And I know that's a word thrown out there. Submissive as in respect. Being the peace, the calm, always, right? So if a lion is roaring, you have to learn how to quiet, you know? So it's just like women don't want to be submissive. Women don't want to be corrected. They don't want that. So there's a false sense of, let's say, independence that's been created. And a lot of women thrive with that saying, I'm independent, I could do this, I could do that. But the truth about it is that you need a man. And we have to come to that realization. We're the only nation of women that say they don't need a man. And you have all these other nations, those women aren't saying that because they know the greatness and the importance of a man being around. Not just financially, but for beyond that. It's beyond finances. It's for the structure. It's for the balance. The independent woman vibes creates fatherless boys, fatherless young girls, no structure. And so, especially for a boy child, they need that. Single women tend to raise emotionally unstable young men, right? They don't know how to deal with their emotions, so they take on this nature of the woman, whereas if they had that father, the father shows a man how to be a man. And he shows his girl child how to respect a man, how to submit, how to behave around so she can balance around the masculine. And so this independent woman thing is not it. It's actually killing our nation, people. And so united we stand, we need the balance. It can't just be feminine, it has to be masculine, that's the balance. And so you can still, being submissive doesn't mean that you don't talk or you're just home not doing anything. You can still be a businesswoman in our culture. And again, it goes back to embracing our culture. In our culture, the women are very ambitious, business-minded, have their roles in the society. There's women that, there's so many women in our culture that have had positions and still knew their role or their position with the man and being submissive. So it doesn't mean that you can't be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur. It's just it's just balancing with the masculine. That's all it is. It's respect, And so really and truly, if you submit to your nature, this is another level. If you submit to your very nature as the feminine, you're going to see certain characteristics. Being quiet, soft answer turns away wrath, right? A lot of women want to go toe to toe with a man, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be, if he's fire, you're water. You can't be fire and fire. It can't be him talking, him feeling like he's talking to a man, you know? So that, I think that's the thing, that independent woman mindset makes you feel, will give you a false sense of, yeah, I can be just like you. And that's not what it's about. The father has such a important role, especially in a young girl's life, because that's the first man she sees, right? And so that's what she's gonna look for in a man, what her father is. So imagine not having a father. You don't know what to look for. You don't have a standard to go by. Good father, upright father, man, not a male, right? There's a difference, actual man. And not having that standard as a young girl, it's very chaotic. And you know, a lot of times, a lot of people talk about, oh, women are whore, they this, they that, they that. It's because they don't have a father. You know, we have to not point the finger on both sides and just say, okay, what's the problem? What's the root problem? And it's no father. The responsibility and accountability is not there. So it's like, you wonder why a woman may be whorish, or why she may stick with a man that's a male that might be abusive, not just physically but mentally, is because she never grew up with a standard, so she doesn't know what to look for and what that is. So a father is that first man in her life, and it's very important for Black men to try to make it work with the woman. Women are and that's another thing. So this is the balance with that. I'm not pointing the finger. Women have to learn how to make it work as well with the man. You know, a man is not defined by his financial status. You know, a man represents all those things. He, like I said, he represents God. He represents the head of the house, the structure, the guidance, the leadership. You know, that's what he represents. And so you have to see that. And women aren't willing to struggle with men anymore. You know, look at women like Betty Shabazz, that was with Malcolm X, and all of these great leaders. They were struggling. People were calling their house and threatening to kill them, but they stuck by their man. That takes integrity. That takes humility, selflessness. That's a better word. It takes a lot of selflessness, and I think a lot of women don't want to go through that. They want it, like in Jamaica we say, ready done. They want a man that's 6 figures, but you a couple change woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. Like we've lost that that unity with each other. Laziness and slothfulness has played a major role in our presentation. Women are not upkeeping with themselves like how they used to. Very, and no offense, sisters, right? But very big, sloppy, not upkeeping your appearance. There's so many things that laziness has caused. So now the laziness has gone so far that they say, okay, I want to look good. Instead of them working out, changing how they consume, they get a BBL, right? And so it's crazy to me that a Black woman would get a BBL because we're naturally shaped great, right? And so that laziness has brought them to that. And I think it's a horrible thing, because a woman should have pride in herself, always look appealing, even after children, because a lot of women use, oh, I have one child and 2 kids, and that's the excuse for me being fat. That's not an excuse, because if you look previously, women from 1920, 1930, 1940, they had 4, 5, 6 children and they stayed slim. So it's not an excuse. It's really not an excuse to not keep up with your appearance, because that now is pressure on the man, because he met you a certain way. Understand that, yes, your body is going to change, right? It's going to change, However, you should maintain a certain appearance according to what he wants. It's no excuse. I grew up with a single mother, and just to see the stress on her having to play two roles, it's a lot of women are dealing with depression, nerve issues, so I get it. I definitely get it, and that makes it a more, it's a bigger issue within an issue, because we don't know the situation of why the woman is single, right? There's so many reasons. Man walks out for whatever reason, and so that puts stress. So it's to find that balance, even in that situation, resilience to upkeep with yourself. There's not just one way of working out, because we can gracefully exercise and move. It's about movement, really. We think working out is just one way, lifting weights. No. Here in Africa, right, we're in Ghana, they're rising up early. Some of them, go fetch water. They're cooking and things like that. So their daily movement keeps them in shape. So they don't necessarily have to go to it. You don't have to go to a gym to be in shape. Let's say you're a single mother and you have 2 children. You could do something in your house. You could dance. You could stretch. It's just about consistency, just movement. It's just about movement, especially for women, just being consistent. But you don't have to get a BBL. You don't have to spending that money it just shows the, what's the word? It just shows the compulsion just to do something and not really counting the cost of what that will do after the effects, cause and effect, and what it will do. So fast forward, we're used to perming our hair, straightening it, different types of weaves and stuff like that, because it's not looked at psychologically. It's so hard for a Black woman to accept her natural self, because she doesn't accept herself. There's some subconscious hate that they have, and so there's a psychological deprogramming that has to happen, right? And most Black women don't go through that, strip themselves and actually face themselves with themselves. And that is a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. So I grew up, of course I had natural hair, but after the age of 6, I had permed hair. So I never knew what my real natural hair looked like. And I was in college and, learning myself, getting to know myself and culture, coming from a Caribbean background and, African American background, learning myself. And I said, I need to embrace myself. And the first step to me was my hair. And that was the hardest thing for me, because it was a psychological process that I had to go through, a mental process. And I remember just washing my hair and saying to myself, I'm gonna just wear it out. And when I did that, I felt so uncomfortable. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't know how to accept myself. So me going through that let me know that I actually had some self-hate going on. It was a lot of mental stress for me to deal with my hair being puffy because it's not accepted in the society that we're in. So me doing that, I definitely, it was a transformation. So the support it needs to be there, because ultimately the Black woman wants to please the Black man and wants to be appealing, so he has to accept that, number one. And that's the biggest thing. And that will really help along that process. So with yourself, just accepting your natural beauty the way you came out, that's a big thing. It's a real psychological, mental process that you have to go through. But once you do go through it, you'll feel so confident. Nothing can tear that down. It's just the journey. You have to trust the process. So it trickled down into the way I ate, the way I spoke, the things that I did, especially in my health journey. with cleansing more and things like that. Eating better. So eating better helped my hair to grow. That's another part that is important. The way we consume is so important in impacting the way our hair grows. So a lot of women will say, oh, well, it's easy for you to say that because you have long hair, but they don't understand the process that I went through. My hair fell out. It was curly one side, it was nappy the other side, I had a bald spot, it was short. So I went through that process so I could talk about it in depth and that journey and transformation of freeing myself. And there's nothing better than that feeling, really embracing yourself. And you know, we're God's creation, we're the apple of God's eye. So just embracing that, how you are, it's the ultimate freedom. Fruits, vegetables, vitamin A, vitamin D, hydrating, coconut, right? Avocado, fatty foods that will help stimulate growth. But just the overall balanced consumption of fruits, vegetables, nuts and grains, and hydration will help for sure. And that's another thing. The way we've been, designed or conditioned to consume, that also has a play in your hair growth. So you can't consume the standard American diet, the sad diet, and expect your hair to blossom. So with the transformation, going through your cocoon phase, I call it, from a caterpillar to a butterfly, it's not just about your hair, it's about your whole livity, really. You have to change the way you eat, the way you speak, the people you hang around, because if the people you hang around are not supporting and serving that transformational phase of acceptance, then you have to let it go. So it's a whole process, holistically approach to doing that. So at that time, I wasn't just, eating a sad diet and like, yeah, I have to embrace myself. It was a whole transformation going on with my environment, the people that I hang with, the things that I did, the meditation that I had. So it was just a whole transformation for me to accept. So I had to go through a stripping process of everything. And knowing in that stripping process, whatever is lost or done away with, I have to accept that. And whatever is on the other side, I have to just trust that process. So it's a unknown knowingness, because on the other side, I know it's going to be rewarding. I just have to get there. So to add on to the question of embracing oneself as a Black woman, your natural hair, I think the problem is we don't have a sense of identity of our culture, our inheritance. And so that right there makes you feel displaced in a society such as America or Canada or the UK, right? So tapping into your roots really, really is a big part of that, because you have a sense of pride when you know where you come from, the rich history where you come from. Not knowing that is the reason why you may feel like you have to fit into society in their standard and what they set. So knowing your culture, knowing your roots is a major part of that process. And the other part I wanted to add is that we make excuses of why we do it. Oh no, I don't hate myself. I have natural hair. I just like to add on extensions, right? So but that's so deep, because you feel like you have to add on. It says the Most High gives the standard of beauty. The way He created you is perfect already. When you add on, you're actually saying, hey, Most High, or whatever you perceive Him to be, right? You didn't do a good job. I need to add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so that's what that's saying. Whatever your excuse is, that's what it boils down to. Accountability and responsibility is important with that, and we're it's like an age of not doing that, taking accountability and responsibility, and also as far as being an example, especially for the youths, that the children, you know, you have them wearing their natural hair and they see mommy with a blonde wig. You're their first example, and so you're doing a huge disadvantage by showing them that. So we have to be that first example. It's not, you know, that phrase, do as I say, not as I do. That's foolishness. It's do as I say because I do as I do, you know, and you have to be that example of what you want to see. Be the example that you want others to be. That's what I'm saying to sisters. And I'm saying that because I went through that process. So I can say that, you know. I don't wear makeup. I don't do any of that because I truly accept myself for who I am and what I am. And to help that process, I consume a certain way. I live a certain way. So you're going to radiate when you change your life in the fullness, holistically. So there's no excuse. All right, my honesty about it is that my perception, makeup was for dead people, right? And old people. And then I don't know what time it happened where we started putting this stuff on, but it's ridiculous. Let's say you have severe acne and you're just patching it up. You're not healing the problem, you're just covering up. And essentially that's what, I won't go so deep into it, but Western medication does. It doesn't heal the root of the problem, it just patches it up and it covers the symptoms that you're having. So it's like a temporary fix to make you feel like, okay, I'm better, when actually the problem is getting worse. So it's the same thing with, and actually those symbols and signs that and signals that your temple is giving you is so that you can get to the root. You know, if you're having acne, okay, there's some stomach issues, your blood is not clean. It's nothing bad, it's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a great thing. It's letting you know that it's working. So to glean back on the makeup, if you having skin issues, that mean that the way that you're consuming your lifestyle is not serving you. So why patch it up? Fix the problem. You don't need to wear makeup. If you consume right, if you clean up your lifestyle, exercise, hydrate yourself with natural foods, sleep deprivation, right? Honorable Dick Gregory talks about that. Sleep deprivation. We're not getting sleep. We're constantly running. It's not. Especially for women, you will age like very, very quickly. And so sleep, hydration, good consumption, meditation, things like that, slowing down. Leave people business alone, right? So it's just a whole lifestyle change. You have to clean up, you know, with everything, because you don't need makeup. You don't need makeup. It's a quick fix. And actually makeup, a lot of these makeups are skin damaging. And high-end makeup is made with some of the most crazy ingredients. And once you look into that, it's like, you want to put that on your face? Your skin is your biggest organ. And when you're putting these chemicals on, that's what you're absorbing. And then you wonder why you have fibroids or cancer and you're sick. It's because you adding on and lifestyle. So it's no need for it. It's no need for it. But again, trying to fit in And that's the thing. I think it's pressure from society. That's one. Sometimes maybe some women just want to look a particular way, and you can look that, you can achieve that. You just have to put it in work. And I think a lot of the problem, here's the real problem. It's slothfulness and it's laziness.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.